Hello my friends, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be a little different. You know that I typically do a eyeshadow palette extravaganza every month because it is the product I buy the most of, but who knew in March that I would end up with 4 new foundations? So we're gonna do a March foundation extravaganza. So this way you know what I picked up as far as foundations for the month of March, as well as just short little rapid reviews of how they worked for me, even though I've kind of already done videos on 3 out of the 4, but that's okay. This will have them all in one place in one video. So if you're interested in seeing the foundations that I picked up for the month of March and how they worked for me, just little rapid reviews, maybe they'll work for you, then just keep on watching. So I'm kind of going to do this in a ranking style, even though truly all 4 of them worked for me, but there are reasons where there are a couple that I just am mind blown by. But let's just go ahead and start. And we're going to start off with Saie. This is the Slip Tint Tinted Moisturizer. I picked this up like literally at the start of the month. I had been hearing so much about this, and if you are familiar, then this is a very natural brand. It's for the no makeup wearer, hence it's not an actual foundation but a tinted moisturizer. What I'd like to do is read to you the description for each of these on the Sephora website so that you know what the finish is, because right off the bat that might tell you whether or not this is right for you. So this particular one is a tinted moisturizer that offers skin-loving hydration, sheer dewy coverage in confusion-free shades, and 100% mineral UV protection. So I have to say that all of the claims for this tinted moisturizer are absolutely true. I really struggle sometimes with finding my shade when they're a little bit more obscure, when they're a little bit more like, when they cover a broader range of skin tones. And so I was kind of debating whether the 2 or 3 would be right for me. The 3 was perfect. It is truly confusion free. Like I could have probably gone 2 and been fine. I could have gone 3 and been fine. The packaging, super cute, very simplistic, easy to throw in your bag. I've mentioned this already a couple of times on my channel, but just so that you know, the cap does get a little bit dirty. That little pump kind of sticks close to the cap, and so it ends up with little dots all over the inside. And then just for reference, this pump is a little bit strange, and I'm assuming they did it for like sustainability purposes, but the little pump is short. So the little stem doesn't go all the way down in there, and if you keep it a certain way like this and the product kind of settles over here at the top end of the tube, it is so hard to get product out. You have to kind of go shaking by the time your arm hurts and all of that. But anyways, not a deal breaker for me. I keep it like this. Usually I keep it flat, but I like to keep it like this to kind of bring the product down. So every now and then I have that little issue, but that's okay. Let me give you a quick swatch. 1, so that you know what the finish looks like. 2, so that you know what it looks like on my skin tone. And for reference, I am a light to light medium neutral. Depending on the range of shades, it will determine whether I go light neutral or light medium neutral. So anyways, this is the slip tint. Here's what it looks like. It's got a very decent amount of coverage for being a tinted moisturizer. Now granted, I am not a super expert when it comes to tinted moisturizers because I typically go the foundation route. I'm not usually the natural, you know, just kind of no makeup kind of look, but that's the trend, and it's actually very pretty. It's also super easy, and if you're looking for either minimalistic or you're working from home or just life is super busy, this is really a nice way to go. So this, for being a tinted moisturizer, and granted, again, it's one of the few I've really used, it's been the best one I have used. So I find that it lasts pretty much all day on me. Yeah, it starts fade. It's a tinted moisturizer and it's got skincare benefits, so I feel like it does start fading a little bit towards the end of the day. But I have also used this in the sense of like full-on foundation type, where I set it, I use concealer, I do all of that, and it looks pretty much like a foundation at that point. So very much enjoy this. It's very hydrating looking. If you don't set it, it looks extremely dewy and hydrating on the skin. So if that is your cup of tea, then that is something that you'll really like. So that's that one. Let's move on to the KVD Beauty or whatever it's called. I had told y'all in my video, the haul, was it the haul where I featured this? I can't remember. I had stopped buying Kat Von D Beauty a long time ago for several reasons. I won't go into all of that here and now, but I had stopped buying. So when she parted ways with the company, there wasn't really anything that spoke to me. I'd kind of just, the brand had disinterested me at that point. But given that this had so much hype around it, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable purchasing it in order to try it out. I was actually so glad that I did. And I purchased mine when they were all starting to sell out. And I don't even know how, because my shade usually sells out the fastest, my tone, but there was still some in stock on the Ulta website. So I did pick it up. And I feel like it's everything that it claims to be. It's everything people have said, the good and the bad. Now, granted, I go in with a very, very light amount. I've already done a video with this, using this foundation, more of a review on if you prefer lighter, not lighter tones, but lighter consistency. If you don't like the super thick and cakey, will this work for you? Because I don't like thick and cakey. And there's absolutely a way you can do it. If you go in with a really light hand, and let me show you what I do. First, let me give you a swatch. It's very, very soft and creamy. Softer and creamier than you would think. You would think it'd be more like a putty. It's like a straight up silky type of cream, and it's very soft and nice to the touch, I have to say. So what I do with this is I just grab some on my finger, dot it on my face the way I would a liquid foundation, and then I go in with my sponge. Now, I have to go in with a little bit more if I'm going to use my sponge, or I can go in with a little bit less if I'm going to use a brush. That is how I have found. I actually kind of like the look of the brush a little better, but I'm so used to using my sponge these days that that's typically what I grab when I use this. But yeah, I just dot it all over. Now, I dot a very little bit. I do like maybe 2 or 3 dots on my forehead, and then the same on my cheeks. And then if I want more, I can build up. But this way it's not looking super cakey, because I have not had this crease on me. I've not had it separate. It has lasted all day. It looks beautiful. It looks like porcelain. But I have seen quite a few people say that it has, and have shown in their videos that it has separated by the end of the day. It's looking really gross. But from what I have seen, it's people who have used a lot. So again, less is more with this one. Let me give you a swatch on my skin tone for reference. I am in the shade M027. I love just how compact this is. Like, if you are a frequent traveler, this is so compact and beats carrying a glass bottle of foundation or whatever. This is so easy. And the packaging, you already know, completely recyclable. It doesn't have a mirror. I actually like the packaging. I've heard some people say it feels and looks cheap. I really like it. I think it's kind of cool. I like acrylic packaging, but that's just me, and I like the little embellishment around. Anyways, so I thought this was a pretty good foundation. I was happy, and I really did not know what to expect because, again, I'm not a fan of thicker, cakier foundations, and for that reason, I was never a fan of her Locket, Locket Tattoo Foundation or something like that. So I had a feeling this was going to be similar to that, and to me it was nothing like it. So here it is, a little bit more spread out on my hand, and I'm so happy that I picked it up. So if you've been on the fence, maybe you're wanting to try it out just out of curiosity purposes, but if you've been on the fence because of the coverage, then don't be scared. Super light hand is key, especially for making it look nice all day through. I will also say that on everybody else, it seems to be looking hydrating and like super dewy. I never get that. I get a semi-matte finish. It's not super matte to where it looks drying, but it's matte enough to where I don't get any kind of dew from it. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's the way I use it. I go in, again, very light, so that's probably the reason. So really liked that one and glad I picked it up this month. Or in the month of March. Hard to believe we're in April. Okay, so let's move into LYS. So the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. I had not, you know what? I completely forgot to give you, hold on, the Good Apple description. I'm all over the place here. Hold on, let me give you the good, wow, it has got 3 stars on Sephora's website. I did not expect that. It says it's a buildable, full coverage, hydrating foundation balm with a lightweight, long wear formula and fresh matte finish in fully recyclable packaging. So I didn't expect the 3 stars. Okay, let's move into LYS. This is a brand I did not plan on picking up. It was kind of when, a lot of times when there's like a new brand, or at least new to me, I'm kind of skeptical and I'm like, I will wait it out and see reviews. There's some times where I'm just like, ooh, that brand looks so interesting. I really want to try that out right off the bat. This was one where I was like, I know nothing about it. Like nothing really speaks to me. And then I was watching Babs Beauty and she had hauled a few things and then she mentioned how inexpensive these products were. And I was like, for that price, I could try it out. And so, but of course, same thing. A lot of the stuff with this brand, you hardly find it in stock. You have to stock the Sephora website. But anyways, my shade had finally come into stock. This was pretty decently early in the month. And finally it came back in. I'm in the shade MN3 for reference, and it is what I am wearing on my face today, in case you were wondering. Now, the whole reason I didn't add in a demo to this video is because I've already done videos with 3 out of these 4 foundations, quite frankly. I will link them down below so that if you're wanting to see one specifically, you can, but I just figured it would be quick and easy to come on here and talk to you about these and we'll save the demo for those dedicated videos. So, given that this was a serum foundation, I figured I may really like it, given that the Rare Beauty foundation is my favorite foundation of life. I'm not even kidding. So, or there's one that has topped that. We'll talk about it in a second. So, given that I love this foundation, I thought, you know what? I may really end up liking that. And then I saw that it was $22 and I'm like, I need to get that. Anyways, the packaging is as lovely as everybody says. I feel like it is even more lovely once you have it in person. The photos online really don't do it justice, and the pump is pink. So that already scored points for me. So anyways, let me give you a very quick, ooh, that made my skin crawl. Let me give you a very quick description, but again, you might already know and have looked into it. But this is a luxuriously clean, skincare infused serum foundation with buildable light to medium coverage in an array of shades. So again, with the kind of lighter coverage, obviously, and then the skincare benefits, what did it say? Skincare infused. I feel like that's what a ton of brands are doing now with their foundations, is they're adding skincare properties into it. I don't know, maybe that's why my skin has been reacting so well to all of these. I'm not even sure. But I will say, for those of you who've kind of been on the fence, that I have heard, now granted, I think more of the feedback to this is that it is a very loved foundation, but I have heard a couple of people, one being a subscriber and the other being Babs Beauty, say that they did not really like this because it clung to dry patches. So being completely transparent with you, I have not had dry patches in a little while. It's been a few months since it was really cold. I have not had any dry patches. And for reference, I do have pretty normal skin. I mean, normal. I don't really have oily in any area and I really don't have dry. So for me, it's just kind of the average. I also don't have a lot of texture. I don't have any texture. I just have a ton of pores right here. And then I feel like noses are always gross, but aside from that, that is the type of skin I have, so that you know how or why these are working for me. And if you have the same skin type, that way you'll know if it might work for you. So anyways, this particular one, let me give you a quick pump, is a little bit, if you're familiar with the Rare Beauty foundation, I feel like this one's a little bit thicker and or creamier than the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty is slightly more like watery, slightly thinner. This one has a little bit more of a cream consistency to it, and so just know that if you are familiar with the Rare Beauty foundation, that this one is slightly different in that sense, but I find it to be so hydrating, and I find this one to blur my pores, which is crazy because it's not very often that a foundation does that. Now, wear time is wonderful with this, but I'm just saying, like, wear time as far as the pores will start showing up after a few hours, but not anything crazy, just kind of normal for me. So this is an amazing foundation. Let me give you the swatch of the Rare Beauty foundation, just so that you have an idea. I don't even know if you're going to be able to tell consistency from the camera, but so this one obviously has a wand, the other one has a pump, and we're just gonna kind of just draw that on there. And again, very, very watery. Let's see if we can, yeah, I don't know, but if you own this one, you know what I'm talking about. So here's this Rare Beauty foundation, and this one is, see, I can spread it so much. There's no like grip to it, just because it's very serum-y, I guess is the word. So that one is serum-y. This one I don't find to be as, you know, liquidy and serum-y as that one. So two serum foundations, but a little bit different. in their consistency. So for $22, I think you need to get on this and you need to try it regardless. It is a wonderful foundation. And I always say what works for me may not work for you and vice versa. We all have different skin types and you know, everybody is so different and unique in their own way. So let's move on to my final purchased foundation for the month of March. This one's also my very favorite and may even be my very favorite foundation ever. So this is the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation. This was released on kind of like an app exclusive, or maybe it was a Rouge exclusive for like one day early on in the month. I'm talking like the first week of March. And I was like, I don't need it, but maybe I should get it to do a review. Maybe other people are kind of interested in it. So I ended up buying it, and I did not expect what was in this foundation. I did not expect to love this thing as much as I did. So first off, the packaging is everything bougie you would expect from Givenchy. It's got their little logo. The bottle is just very pretty. I think I'm most captivated by the fact that it has their little logo. Super, super pretty. Very luxe, I think. Let me read you the description real quick in case you have not heard of this foundation. I haven't heard this foundation getting a whole lot of recognition, I guess. I don't even know that a lot of people knew it released, but it is a skin loving foundation. Again, pretty much all of these have been some sort of skin loving in one way or another. A skin loving foundation that delivers light buildable coverage with skincare benefits. You've probably noticed a theme at this point with all of the foundations I picked up except for the Good Apple is that they're light to medium coverage. So all of them are on the lighter scale, and maybe that's why they've really been working for me. I don't know, but this one has just taken the cake for me. There is something, whatever the skin loving property is in this foundation has really been working well with my skin. So it does come with a pump, and it has the little Givenchy logo on the little top of the pump. Super pretty. I love those kind of details. To me, that's what makes a product. So aside from what's in it, of course. So here is the Givenchy foundation. It's a little bit thicker, you can tell, because it's not running down my hand. For reference, I am in the shade N250, which was the light medium neutral shade. And then this one is kind of a good balance between runnier and creamy. It's not runny enough to where it would run down my hand, but it is a little bit thinner than you would find in a whole lot of other foundations. But that's probably why it is the light to medium buildable coverage. And it does feel like it has some sort of like, almost kind of like a face lotion in there, something you would put in there to treat your skin, take care of your skin before you go in with foundation. It really feels like it has something in there, and it just feels so cushiony and soft when you put it on the skin. Now, I have been using a sponge, again, just out of habit, but that does shear out the coverage quite a bit. A brush is, you know, if you're wanting to build coverage, a brush is always the way to go. But I just find that I go in with like a layer or two, at most 2 layers, not always, but sometimes I do. And it's very healthy looking, very dewy. Again, if you don't set it, you're gonna end up with that very, very dewy look, which I'm okay with, but I typically do set. So this is what it looks like. Again, look, easy to blend. It just kind of evens everything out. I don't know, it's like the best of both worlds with skincare and foundation in one. And this is, I think, like I said, my very favorite foundation, to even include favorite over the Rare Beauty. There's just something about this that gives my skin the healthiest, prettiest look. It looks like I've been drinking a whole lot of water, even though maybe I haven't been, and I love this bad boy. So I don't know if I gave you prices. I think this one was $49, this one was $22, this one was $39, and this one was $32. So that rounds up my foundation extravaganza for the month of March. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it beneficial. Maybe there's one of these that you've had your eye on, especially since the sale's coming, and you kind of know now what type of consistency, how it worked for me, all of that good stuff. Alrighty, my friends, so before I let you go, just want to give you a very quick verse of the day just to motivate you and encourage you and to let you know that Jesus loves you. So today's comes from Hebrews 13:8, and it says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. As we have gone through Easter weekend, I pray that you had a beautiful weekend and that you celebrated the very reason for the, I don't even consider it a holiday. It's just, you know, it is the most meaningful event in the history of the world. And you know, my very faith, that is what it's built on, is the resurrection of my Savior. So if you don't already know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, it is my prayer that he makes himself so real to you, that he show you a peace and a love that you have never felt before, that you would only know that it comes from him. All right, guys, well, I love each and every one of you, but Jesus loves you so much more. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until then, till the next one, stay safe and stay well. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.